It says we're streaming. OBS says we're not. I know you can see this, but like, whatever. I don't know what's going on there. Am I live or not? Oh, not what I meant to do. Okay, it definitely looks like we're live. OBS is not. It says it's connecting. It doesn't say that we're live. Alright, whatever. Oh, and I accidentally closed out the stupid thing. I don't know why I did that. Where are you at? Alright, let's try this again. So, let's turn that on, and then...
Game? I know most of you are old enough to vote, but hidden within the Pokédexes are some truly creepy and unsettling entries. I collected 50 of the creepiest, and the further into the video we go, the more unsettling they'll get.
Yep.
Ending with the most disturbing of all. Bladeform Aegislash's shield entry says, once upon a time, a king with an Aegislash reigned over the land. His Pokemon eventually drained him of life, and his kingdom fell with him.
Wow! I didn't know that. Drained him of life, and his kingdom fell with him. So his Aegislash basically killed him.
Cruel, and the Aegislash did the world a service? Or was he benevolent?
I know this is gonna look weird on the screen, because it's over there, and I'm looking this way. But, like I said, I've got it backwards.
Runerigus' shield entry says,
Runerigus.
never touch its shadow-like body, or you'll be shown the horrific memories behind the picture carved into it.
Horrific memories?
The dragon or snake, but its other dex entry mentions a curse woven into it, which I'm more curious about. Was the painter cursed, or did they curse the painting? Why? What happened? There
I imagine they cursed the painting. That's probably what happened.
is a way to find out, but only a horrific one. Kadabra's Fire Red entry says, it happened one morning. A boy with extrasensory powers awoke in bed, transformed into Kadabra.
What? That sounds more like one of those propaganda things. Like that'd be straight out of the tabloids. That's what that sounds like. I woke up with an alien instead of my husband. I woke up with an alien instead of my wife. Let's correct what I just said. Let's not give anybody a sick idea.
The idea of just waking up one morning and not being you anymore, instead being what is effectively an animal, it's pretty unsettling. And this next entry is in a similar vein. Yamask's black entry says, each of them carries a mask that used to be its face when it was human.
Used to be its face when it was human? Oh my gosh. Like, again, that sounds like that's like a propaganda thing, like it's folklore or something that was made up. Ancient people had a weird way of coming up with stuff, okay? Like, most of what you think is fantasy is really just some BS to explain things they didn't understand. Like fairies being fireflies in swamps. Because people go missing, they like, what do we blame it on? We're gonna blame it on this mythical thing that we can't see, that doesn't exist, because we don't know what happened. We're just gonna make shit up. That's what a lot of the ancients did. They made up a lot of stuff. A lot. That's why That's why there's so many different pantheons of religion, of different gods and everything.
Look at it. Crime. Maybe the Kadabra boy's mind was altered to make him believe that he was always a Pokemon, and maybe he's content as a result. But Yamask, we know they remember their old lives. We know they mourn their human bodies. Instead, these people are doomed to spend an eternity as a double ghost Pokemon, carrying the face that was once theirs, but isn't anymore. Azelf's Legends Arceus entry says, the dreaded being of willpower. Legends tell of this Pokemon manipulating the will of its adversaries. And
Dreaded being of willpower? I thought willpower was like one of the strongest things you could have. And they're saying dreaded?
turning them into puppets of its own. The Lake Trio are often viewed as gifts to humanity, giving them emotion, knowledge, and willpower. But getting on the bad side of dreaded Azelf, and it using its control over willpower to turn you into just what is essentially a zombie? What a horrible fate that would be.
Yeah,
Parasec's
that's a
Legends
horrible
Arceus
fate.
entry says, mushroom-lacking specimens of this Pokemon lie unmoving in the forest, lending credence to the hypothesis that the large mushroom is in control of Parasec's actions. Parasec's lore of being controlled by the mushroom
Yeah, that's
is nothing new. That's its whole design basis.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's
the
nothing
idea
new.
of finding the discarded bug bodies scattered about the forest is a grim reminder that whenever you see this Pokemon, you see nothing but a husk. Mega Metagross's Ultra Sun entry says, its intellect surpasses its previous level, resulting in battles so cruel, they'll make you want to cover your eyes. For this video, I'm aiming for dex entries that are more creepy and unsettling, kind of like ghost story vibes, as opposed to ones that are just like brutal or violent, talking about crushing bones or draining body fluids. If this video does well enough, maybe I'll make 50 most violent Pokedex entries. Despite that though, this Mega Metagross entry still fits into this creepy focused video because of the ambiguity. It goes into no details about how the cruelty is exacted, leaving it up to our imaginations. As shown by this painting, the uncertainty of the darkness can be far more terrifying than seeing what lurks within it. Victory Bell's red and blue entry says, said to live in huge colonies deep in jungles, although no one has ever returned from there. No one who has ever sought out a Victory Bell colony has lived to tell the tale. This one is creepy enough on its own, but later on in the video, I'll show you another dex entry that makes this one even worse. Dusclops' Ruby entry says, Dusclops' body is completely hollow. There is nothing at all.
I mean, Victory Bell's based on that, whatever that plant is that lures bugs in, and the whole reason it's shaped like a bell is because it's got digestive juices in the bottom. And then once the bug gets in there, it basically is stuck there. I can't think of what type of flower or plant that is, but that's basically the concept. And if you got a problem with like bugs and things, find out whatever that plant is, get some of those, and get some Venus flytraps. Enough with the spraying of chemicals, okay? The chemicals are gonna harm us as much as it is. Well, it's gonna harm us more than the bugs are. Bugs are effectively biological chemical warfare incarnate. Get some more natural things like those plants.
At all inside. It is said that its body is like a black hole. This Pokemon will absorb anything into its body, but nothing will ever come back out. Dusclops is already spooky, but when you think about how it's just a bandage-wrapped void, absorbing and ending creepy.
I'm not even gonna get into it, but a black hole is not a freaking void. It's not a hole into something else. It's not a wormhole. I really wish science would stop saying that because it's not what it is.
And people indiscriminately gets even more sinister. Gigantamax Gengar's shield entry says it lays traps, hoping to steal the lives of those it catches. If you stand in front of its mouth, you'll hear your loved ones' voices calling out to you. This is the first Gengar entry, and it will not be the last, but What a horrible fate. Losing your life, lured into the mouth of a Gigantamax Gengar, tricked into thinking that it has your loved ones captive? Or maybe it's not a trick at all. Gothatel's shield entry says, a criminal who was shown his fate by a Gothitelle went missing that same day and was never seen again. Other Gothitelle entries discuss how it sees its trainer's lifespan and weeps, but this is the only Dex entry where the person sees their fate and dies that same day. Does seeing your demise cause it? Or, because he was a criminal, did Gothitelle show the man how Gothitelle itself would soon end it? Gorgeist average sizes sword entry says, eerie cries emanate from its body in the dead of night. The sounds are said to be the wails of spirits who are suffering in the afterlife. Pumpkin may look goofy, but apparently it's a window to hell. Alamar's Y entry says,
Wow.
it lures its prey close with hypnotic motions, then wraps its tentacles around it before finishing it off with digestive fluids. I know this is just its hunting technique, and maybe could
That's
find
disturbing.
more violent Dex entries instead, but just imagine it happening to you. Think about being
There's
hypnotized
a
and walking
lot
straight
of-
into Malamar,
Here, let me pause that.
forced to be
There's a lot of Pokemon that it talks about being eaten by the Pokemon. There's a lot of them. Victory Bell is one of them.
ensnared in
I have no idea which game it is that says that, but I know he does another video where he talks about that, and one of the graphics he shows is a skeleton inside the Victory Bell. So that's a thing. Like, there's a lot of Pokemon that eat humans.
and melted, helpless to fight back, even scream. Chandelure's shield entry says, in homes illuminated by Chandelure instead of lights, funerals were a constant occurrence. Or so it said. People in that house probably died in a variety of horrible ways, all caused by Chandelure. Watching from its perch, enjoying its consistent source of fuel.
So he's got the same light right in his face.
Grandpa's
I
older
unfortunately
son
I don't have a way of
says
putting
if
it
the
right in my
child that he's
face.
made friends with is bullied, Grandpa will find the bully's house and burn it to the ground. While Grandpa may appear
At least I don't
sweet,
think I
it's
do.
actually a monster. Because imagine you're the parent of a badly behaved child. And you wake up in
Like,
the middle of
honestly,
the
if I
night, your
could, like,
house on fire,
Bend it over here and have it pointing at me.
and
You
and the
can't
rest
see
of the
where my
family
hand is, but
burned to
I'm
death
over
as a
there.
result. Bullying
It's over
is
that way.
wrong.
If I could put it like right here, it would be in my face instead of having the shadow right here. It's the best I can do. So I don't like the color of it either. It makes me look pale.
Even those it gets along well with. Imagine you wake up one morning and you find that your roommate's Sliggoo has melted and eaten him.
There you go.
Or
There's another
worse,
Pokemon that
imagine
eats
you
people.
wake up halfway through your own Sliggoo doing the same to you. What a horrible way to die. Mischievous' Ultra Sun entry says, what gives meaning to its life is surprising others. If you set your ear against the red orbs around its neck, you can hear shrieking. Most of Mischievous' entries are lighthearted and talk about it playing tricks and causing mischief, but this one reveals something much more sinister.
Yep.
What's inside those beings? Is it another trick? Or someone trapped in there? Beheeyem's Ultra Sun entry says, with its psychic powers, it rewrites its opponent's memories. You too may have already had your memories rewritten. Dex entries that talk directly to the player are always immediately unnerving, at least a bit, in my opinion, because it kind of breaks the fourth wall a bit. They're pretty uncommon. But this one is exceptionally creepy, because it forces you to think about, what did you forget? What does Beheeyem not want you to remember?
I have no idea.
Drifloom's Sun entry says, stories go that it grabs the hands of small children and drags them away to the afterlife. It dislikes heavy children. Any Dex entry that discusses a Pokemon killing children is immediately pretty upsetting and is going to be kind of high on my list. Drifloom is infamous for this. However,
Drifloom has a lot of that. Like, a lot of those are from Drifloom. I mean, ain't no doubt about that. I guess Drifloon is just taking after William Afton. William Afton is back as Drifloon.
This one is not higher on the list simply because it dislikes heavy children. Is kind of fun. Drifloon has another dex entry later in this video, though, which, to be honest, disturbs me a lot more. Duskull's Violet entry says, Duskull's victims suffer an intense chill as the Pokemon siphons their life force away, glaring at them with its bright red eye. All alive, that single red eye. Last thing ever seen. Bayonet's Ruby entry says, Bayonet generates energy for laying strong curses by sticking pins into its own body. This Pokemon was originally a pitiful plush doll that was thrown away.
A pitiful plush doll that was thrown away? Like, who throws away a plush? Unless they, like, damaged it. I'm looking around for plush. I don't have any plush. Not any clothes. This is not really a plush. It's my shiny Dragoneer. It's like this snake thing, so I can sort of pose it. I don't know why my face keeps popping in and out, but yeah, I can sort of pose it. I've had it sitting like this, like curled up so it can like be around my neck for like forever, and it's still not holding that pose. Still not. So I don't really recommend this. It was really cool coming across one of my favorite shinies, but the thing just will not. Unless I did something special, like put some more wiring around it, it doesn't hold the shape that you set it to. I've got several plushes. I got a couple of them over there. I've got more in my storage unit, which I'm probably going to have to get out here soon. If I don't find work, I'm going to end up losing that storage unit, so I've got to get my stuff out of there.
Bayonet being a possessed doll is already creepy enough, but sticking pins into its own body is just ugh. Palisan's Moon entry says, buried beneath the castle are masses of dried up bones from those whose vitality has drained.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've heard that either. Like, again, a lot of Pokemon eat people. This is not necessarily eating their flesh. This is like eating their energy, but I mean, effectively, it's going to decay, and there's going to be nothing but bones. So you might as well say it ate you, because that's effectively what it's doing. It's just not eating your flesh.
This cute sandcastle Pokemon drains life out of people and then stores their bones to be used as weapons later. It is all kinds of messed up. Shiinotic's Sun entry says, forests where Shiinotic live are treacherous to enter at night. People confused by its strange lights can never find their way home again. Fairy Pokemon are normally sweet and caring, but Shiinotic's confusion tactics...
Yeah, that's one thing people don't really understand, is fairies, like I was saying about ancients and like the things that they came up with, fairies and fae are not good. They are evil little bastards that are out to just kill humans. That is the origin of them. It wasn't until Disney came along and made Tinkerbell this cute little thing, and a few other different fairies made them cutesy and everything, and like a force of good. They are not a force of good. They were not originally something that you would want to have around. They were the evil ones. They were just as evil as any other evil being, like a demon or a what is it? A kappa, or you name something. It was just another version of evil. That's how paranoid ancient people were. They came up with all sorts of things, and all of them are out to kill you.
Literally in Ghastly's Ultra Moon entry says, poisonous gas comprises 95% of its body. It's said that the remaining 5% is made up of the souls of those who die from the gas. Souls forced to inhabit what killed them, and then likely kill more. What a terrible fate.
So if 95% of it is made up of the poisonous gas, and the other 5% is the souls it made up. Does it keep making more gas every time it kills somebody in order to keep that balance? Or does it, like, dissolve the souls?
Cacturn's Sapphire entry says, if a traveler is going through a desert in the thick of night, Cacturn will follow in a ragtag group. The Pokemon are biding their time, waiting for the traveler to tire, become incapable of moving. This would be a truly terrifying experience. You see the Cacturn behind you, look away, look back, the Cacturn closer. Gengar's Moon entry says it apparently wishes for a traveling companion. Since it was once human itself, it tries to create one by taking the lives of other humans. This one really upsets me. Not only does it reveal that Gengar is another former human, which is unnerving enough on its own, but unlike Yamask, which just wander in sadness, Gengars are serial killers. Futilely murdering people to do what?
Wow.
Create another body for itself? Create a child? Whatever it is, it's horrible. Katarine's Violet entries.
Yeah, it's not the first time either that we've heard of a human being a Pokemon. But I think there's a good chunk of the ghost Pokemon that all have something to do with being former humans. There's at least one entry for most of them. I think the stupid Golem, whatever the Golem's name is, I think it's the only one that doesn't have an entry like that. All the others have an entry somewhere stating that it was once human. I think even Cruelage, I think he has one stating that he was a cruel knight or something. I don't know, I'd have to look it up. I mean, he's only been in one game because he's a Gen 9 Pokemon, but the point is, I think all Ghost Pokemon have been humans at one point, according to various dex entries.
Says, beware of forests that show no signs of living creatures within. You may have wandered into Hatterene's territory. Hatterene is so horrible that it has either killed or scared off every living creature in an entire forest. And if you find yourself there, you'll be chased. Haunter's Fire Red entry says, you get the feeling of being watched in darkness when nobody is around. Haunter is there. Everyone hates the feeling of thinking you're being watched and knowing nothing's there, but there is something there. It's Haunter. And as we'll see in a later entry, it has plans for you. Cofagrigus' Black entry says, it has been said that they swallow those who get too close and turn them into mummies. Like to eat birds.
They turn them into mummies. They also like to eat gold nuggets. That feels like a line straight out of some comical movie. Like, I can picture Blinken from Men in Tights saying something like that. Saying something almost exactly like that. That's literally what I get a sense of. I'm grabbing another drink. Let's just go ahead. Let's keep going.
I want to read you some excerpts from the Smithsonian website that explain how ancient Egyptians mummified dead people. The first step in the process was the removal of all internal parts that might decay rapidly. The brain was removed by carefully inserting special hooked instruments up through the nostrils.
Yep.
The embalmers then removed.
It's not exactly right, but basically they stick a sharp implement up through the nostril. They scramble the brain, like they cut it up and everything inside there. And then they use another tool that's got like a hook on it. And they grab the stuff and pull it out through the nose.
The organs of the abdomen and chest through a cut usually made on the left side of the abdomen. The embalmers next removed all moisture from the body. Next, the wrapping began. The mummy was complete. Now imagine Cofagrigus doing that to you.
Like, what ancient person thought that this was going to be a good way to preserve the body? You've actually made the body like less inhabitable by doing that. That's not a good way of preserving it. I mean, it is. It's a different kind of preserving. It's like preserving a grape in the form of a raisin. I mean, technically it's the same thing, but it's no longer viable as a grape. It's not going to be a grape ever again.
You're still alive. Blue Flower Florges' Scarlet entry says, though usually compassionate, Florges will hunt down anyone who vandalizes its flower garden, showing no mercy, even if they beg for their lives. As
Leave its flowers alone.
As mentioned earlier, I tried to avoid having dex entries in this video that just talk about the Pokemon being brutal or vicious, but this one, I had to include it, because they have the line, even if they beg for their lives. That just makes Florges so much more terrifying. Disguised form
Sounds creepy.
Ultramoon entry says, a gust of wind revealed what hides under this Pokemon's rag to a passing trainer, who went home and died painfully that very night.
Ouch. I still wonder what Pokemon they're thinking should be under there. Now, everybody has their different theories on what it is, and like some people think it was like Clefairy. Like Clefairy was supposed to be the popular one, or there's a reason why Nidoran is on the original intro for Red and Blue. But I have a different theory on this. I think what it was supposed to be under there is actually a Jigglypuff. If you really think about it, Jigglypuff was very important in the original anime. Like, it was a character that was there all the time. And then nobody ever caught it, and nobody ever really cared about it. It became kind of this obscure character. I'm wondering if Jigglypuff was meant to be the cute little Pokemon that everybody was supposed to love, but nobody did. And the truth of it is that that's actually a Jigglypuff who's ashamed that they didn't become, like, the popular one. I think that's probably what the Pokemon Company actually did, is that is originally supposed to be a Jigglypuff. Because Pikachu was not meant to be the central Pokemon everybody was supposed to love. It was originally supposed to be something else. Though, I don't think they were telling the truth on that, because it was revealed that Clefairy was the one. However, Jigglypuff was more out there in the anime, and I'm not really sure about the manga, but I think the manga as well, Jigglypuff had a more central role. Let's continue on.
Mimikyu entry that says a scientist saw its true form and died from shock, but this one spells out that someone just walking along the road happened to look at the wrong place at the wrong time and died painfully as a result. It's horrible. Dusknoir's shield entry says, with the mouth on its belly, Dusknoir swallows its target whole. The soul is the only thing eaten. Dusknoir disgorges the body before departing. This is simply a horror.
Yep, another example of Pokemon eating humans. I mean, even if it's not eating the flesh, it's still eating the human.
Horrifying image. It's one of the freakiest ways that a Pokemon can kill someone. Malamar's Scarlet entry says its hypnotic powers are dangerously strong. Anyone who falls under Malamar's control loses their memories surrounding the event. I already covered the horrible way in which Malamar kills its prey, but this one is worse. Another entry says there's an endless number of people who utilize Malamar for their nefarious deeds. Someone with a Malamar could control you and make you do horrible and heinous things, maybe to people you love. You would be none the wiser. Gorgeist's Y entry says it enwraps its prey with its hair-like arms. It sings joyfully as it observes the suffering of its prey. Again, this silly pump.
That's hair? I don't think I ever realized that that's hair. I mean, it says hair-like. Arms. I never really thought about that.
Pumpkin is actually twisted. It sings joyfully as it watches suffering. It's messed up. Jellison's Black entry says the fate of the ships and crew that wander into Jellison's habitat. All sunken, all lost, all vanished. Imagine you're a sailor on a ship sailing peacefully through the night, and you catch sight of a horde of ghostly specters in the water that end up dragging you and all of your crewmates and friends down to drown. Victory Bell's yellow entry says, lures prey with the sweet aroma of honey. Swallowed whole, the prey is melted in a day, bones and all.
Yep, that's pretty accurate to how that plant works. I still can't think of the name of that thing.
I told you I'd come back to it. People who go looking for these Victory Bell colonies, they end up nowhere. Lampin's shield entry says it lurks in cities pretending to be a lamp. Once it finds someone whose death is near, it will trail quietly after them. Few things sound more terrifying than being followed by a lamp, because it means that your life is about to end. Gotharita's sword entry says,
Whoop-de-doo, I don't know why people are so scared of that. You're gonna die. Just know that. You're gonna die. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Do the best you can, do whatever.
It's said that when stars shine in the night sky, this Pokemon will spirit away sleeping children. Some call it the Witch Punishment. Other
The Witch of Punishment. That's interesting.
Gotharita entries discuss how it controls children to make friends for itself, which is upsetting enough. But this one says it
Controls children to have friends? What the hell? That's messed up. That's really messed up. Considering they have that, and like I'm thinking about, I don't remember ever seeing any child character having Gotharita?
spirits them away and gives it a terrifying nickname. Once Gotharita's playtime
Yeah,
is over,
Gotharita. There you go.
what happens to the kids? Banette's Ultra Sun entry
It gets taken away by Blue. We already know this.
says it's a stuffed toy that was thrown away and became
It's a stuffed toy. Okay, so we're going back to the whole idea that Bayonetta is a plushie. It's a toy that was rejected. So it's an evil toy from Toy Story. It's the teddy bear. It's the teddy bear.
possessed, ever searching for the one who threw it away so it can exact its revenge. Banette's already freaky enough, but it's searching for the one that threw it away? Imagine you're an adult and a doll that you pitched decades ago shows up to your door to try to kill you. Darkrai does not have a dex entry in this video, but I did consider it because it causing nightmares is pretty creepy. But then I found this Masharna dex entry and realized that Darkrai can't quite measure up. Masharna's sword entry says, when dark mists emanate from its body, don't get too near. If you do, your nightmares will become reality.
Your nightmares will become reality. Well, okay. What was the last nightmare that I had? I haven't had a nightmare in like forever. The only thing, I've had a lot of weird dreams, and I haven't done like a dream thing in a while. Maybe after this is done, I'll talk about my latest dream. It's another Minecraft related one.
Think about all the terrible nightmares you've had, from your teeth falling out to being chased by a monster to your loved ones dying. Masharna makes all of that real. You can't wake up from those nightmares. We've now reached the top 10, what I believe to be the creepiest Pokedex entries in the entire franchise. Hypno's Fire Red entry says it carries a pendulum-like device. There was once an incident in which it took away a child hypnotized. This is a
Oh, wow. That's creepy.
pretty infamous entry, and for good reason. Hypno, a creepy Pokemon already, kidnapped a child. Its fate unknown. Phantom's Sun entry says, these Pokemon are stumps possessed by the spirits of children who died in the forest.
Well, we know what happened to the children that Hypno kidnapped. Yeah, I know, I'm looking the wrong way. It needs to be like that. But it's over there for me, not over here for you. viewers. Whatever. Let's just go on.
Cries sound like eerie screams. Dead children's stories will always be sad.
You know, one thing I never thought about is that little thing does look like the dead children from Five Nights at Freddy's. It does kind of look like that.
Phantom sounding like the shrieks of the dying child that it is makes it so much worse. Haunter's yellow entry says, by licking, it saps the victim's life. It causes shaking that won't stop until the victim's demise. As mentioned earlier, if you feel your
So it's some kind of
Haunter,
it's some kind of neurotoxin. Excuse me. Wow. So it's got some kind of neurotoxin in its tongue.
is there, stalking you, planning to, with just one lick, cause you a horrible, convulsing death. Duskull's Scarlet entry says, in the dead of night, these Pokemon wander through towns in search of children, whose vital energy is a Duskull's favorite food. I picture a poor, innocent kid staring into Duskull's single red eye as they slowly die. Frostlass's Sun entry says, when it finds humans or Pokemon it likes, it freezes them and takes them to its chilly den, where they become decorations.
Dang. Wow. That's messed up. That one is messed up. Holy mackerel. Can you imagine being frozen and then decorated in like a cave? Like, this sounds like Luke in Empire Strikes Back, where he's hanging upside down in the cave. I can't think of what that creature's called. Like, the first thing that jumps to mind is Wampa, but I don't think that's right. I can't think of what it's called.
I will never forget playing Pokemon Sun for the first time, entering Lucian's sanctum, and being horrified by the frozen Pokemon she keeps there. Frostlass is doing this exact same thing, and it's creepy no matter who.
I really don't remember that.
Crystal entry says, when nothing's left to extract from the bug, the mushrooms on its back leave spores on the bug's egg. I had never seen this entry before writing this video, and it honestly freaked me out. Like, of course I know about Parasite's lore and that Paris exists, it already has the mushrooms on it, but the way this presents it, the mushroom will never let them escape. Even the next generation, it dooms the babies, and it's just really unsettling that this species is trapped forever. This next entry is the other Drifloon one, and I had never encountered it before writing this video, and maybe it's recency bias, but I think this one is far more disturbing than any other Drifloon entry. Drifloon's Moon entry says, if for some reason its body bursts, its soul spills out with a screaming sound. I don't know what else. I don't know what to add here. It's just... Glalie Sapphire entry says, Glalie has the ability to freely control ice. For example, it can instantly freeze its foe solid. After immobilizing its foe in ice, this Pokemon enjoys eating it in leisurely fashion.
Oh, okay. So not only are you frozen, but now you're a popsicle. A literal popsicle, like you're gonna be eaten. Like I said, there's a lot of Pokemon that eat people. This one does not specifically say people, but I mean, if you're the one that it's freezing, like kiss your butt goodbye. Although I don't know, like the amount of times that Ash has gotten hit by something and then walked away from it, and the amount of times he's picked up stuff and thrown it, like my favorite example is when he throws the log. Like, how ridiculously strong is Ash? He threw a log. Like, it's not even like a small log. Like, we're talking like this is the trunk of a tree, and he throws it. And he's, what, supposedly a 10-year-old boy? And he's throwing around trees? Holy crap. I mean, how many times has been electrocuted by Pikachu, flamethrowered in the face, and still walking around? Like, And I'm sure there's more examples. Like, I think there's one time that he almost froze to death if it weren't for his Pokemon. Because he was trying to keep his Pokemon from freezing to death. And then they, in turn, shared their heat with him. Because they didn't want him freezing to death.
Blayley's victims are frozen, but not explicitly killed.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't say that, does it?
Still be conscious while they're being eaten leisurely, forced to suffer for who knows how long. Gengar's Sun entry says, should you feel yourself attacked by a sudden chill, it is evidence of an approaching Gengar. There is no escaping it. Give up. Remember how I...
Woo! There's no escaping it? Give up? Holy crap. Jeez.
said that Dex entries that
That's messed up.
to the reader are pretty unnerving. It doesn't get freakier than this. The Pokedex is straight up telling people to give up and die. It is hard to imagine a Pokedex entry that's creepier than that. There is one. Litwick's Shield entry says, the younger the life this Pokemon absorbs, the brighter and eerier the flame on its head burns.
Oh, gosh. And, never pause J and M. Or M and J. He looks like he's going in for a drunk kiss. I need to screenshot that and be like, never pause M and J TV. That was great. It was so funny that I forgot what we were dealing with. It was Litwick. The younger the life, the more its flame burns. That's creepy. Wow.
All the Dex entries where Pokemon kill kids are disturbing, but none explicitly say that the younger the child is, the more the Pokemon likes it.
Yeah, that's screwed up.
The creepiest Pokemon out there, and to be honest, most f***ed up. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out my video about all the crazy Dex entries they added in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Some of them are creepy, like in this video, but others are weird, interesting, or just kind of funny. Pokemon is...
I accidentally restarted it. Let's,
It's a kid's game. I know most of you are old enough.
stop. Let's find something else. We're just sitting here waiting. There's still nobody in chat. And as far as I can tell, we are streaming. Shush. Yeah, watch that one. His 100 favorite Pokemon I don't really care for. Watch that one. Let's find something I haven't seen. Best evolutions in every game. I've watched that one. It shows that I haven't, which is BS. Earliest legendaries I've gotten. Famous fan theories and if they're true. Wow, I just realized that he really doesn't put out any videos that often. Yeah, here's the one about oldest Pokedex entries are unhinged, and it shows a victory bell with a skeleton in it. Meme review from 1 year ago? No. He really doesn't have that many videos out. What about... What about on his Play channel? Oh, shut up. Yeah, I saw that one. We've never seen Pokemon Emerald like this. I've never seen Pokemon Emerald. I did not own that one. Pokemon Challenge across every region. Like, these are just regular, like, play videos. It's not something I really want to react to. Yeah, that's all this is, just straight up play videos over here on this. Yeah, I don't really care about the Minecraft movie. It looks like it's gonna be horrible. There's nothing really going on there. A 100 days in Stardew Valley, and that definitely looks like Minecraft. What the heck? All the lore, all the Minecraft lore. Secret Pokemon. I don't know what you mean by secret Pokemon. That's an old video. I really enjoyed that one. Especially the Final Fantasy 7 bit? No. 10. No. It's Final Fantasy 13. That's the one with lightning. Yeah, 13. It's a video about the scary bosses that are killed by a much scarier boss. Like, you go to fight them, and they've been haunting you for a while, and then when you go to fight them, they're killed by something bigger and badder. And there's a sequence in Final Fantasy 13 where you're hunting down this monster that is, like, famous for killing a lot of people and a lot of other creatures, and it's just like, this thing, it's got like some ridiculous name, the mass murderer or something. And then when it appears on screen, you just see this little bitty thing come running up and poke it in the ankle, and it instantly dies. It's a freaking Tonberry. And if you don't know what a Tonberry is in Final Fantasy, screw those things. I haven't played... Like, 13 pissed me off. I did not finish playing Final Fantasy 13, and that was the last Final Fantasy I ever played. It pissed me off from the get-go. It wasn't like I made it so far into the game, it was just like, okay, I'm done with it. It was literally, I started the game, I got in, I went to the first battle, and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is not what we were promised. We were promised full free roam combat. That's what they were telling us. And that's not what we got. We got the stupid stand there and take it BS that has been in Final Fantasy for like forever. And we had the combat system of the Kingdom Hearts series, and I love the combat system in Kingdom Hearts. Even the first one. Like, a lot of people rip on it. I never had a problem with it. It always worked fine for me. Even on the Little Mermaid sequence, I didn't have a problem with the swimming. I didn't have a problem with the flying. I don't know why people had a problem with it. It never made sense to me that people complained about that. I don't really see anything else worth reacting to. I really don't. Every original Pokemon I never used. This is a really old video by him. It says it's 2 years old. This is really old. we'll do this. We'll react to this one because I don't know this one. Every original Pokemon I never used. There's quite a few of them that I've never used because I think they're butt ugly. I mean, on a technicality, because I know he's probably done multiple playthroughs, I'm still going to say no, because he started off on Ruby and Sapphire. I started off with Red and Blue. I've been around longer, I've played more of them. Though I haven't finished all of them. He's probably finished every single one of them. There's just some of them I just like, eh. It's so boring. Or it's just not interesting. Like, Ruby and Sapphire, I don't even remember what 90% of the game is because it was that uninteresting. Like, I remember more of some of the others than I do that one. I think the only one I remember less of is probably Diamond and Pearl. Or, no, it'd be Black and White that yeah, Black and White that I know I remember less of. It's actually, like, it's those three, like, Ruby and Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, and then Black and White. Like, I barely remember anything about those games. I remember a lot about X and Y, simply because that was the first time we got to customize our character. Then, Sun and Moon, I remember a lot of because it was so different to any of the previous games. Like, instead of having gym battles, we had trials, which was really weird, and some of those trials just kicked my ass. I'm just gonna say it flat out, it kicked my ass at times. And then, like, some of the remakes aren't really even worth mentioning. I've played pretty much, except for Diamond and Sapphire, I've played pretty much every single, well, actually the Alpha Ruby, Omega Sapphire, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, however it is. I didn't even play that. I've made it to like 3 badges on that one, which is about how far I made it in Ultra Moon. And then Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, or however you say these. It should be like right here. Nope, that's Tomb Raider. Let's go Eevee. That is Shield. That's Pokemon Sword. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I haven't really played those. I think the first one I got was Pearl, and then I bought Diamond like some time ago because I figured I was getting close to being done with all the others, and I need to just get another one. And I still haven't finished these. Like, I'm so close to the decks, being done with the decks here. All I need is a Palafin. That's it. That's all I need. Now, granted, I do need the Paradox Pokemon, but I'm currently playing Scarlet. Like, eventually I will get done with Scarlet, and I will have the Paradox Pokemon from Scarlet in Violet. So, literally all I am missing that I cannot get on my own is the stupid Palafin. That is the only thing I am missing, and it will be the first time I've ever completed the decks. First time. But yeah, so let's go on with this and see what Pokemon he's never used. I'm going to quickly go over which ones I have never used. Just looking at this chart. And Wigglytuff. I have never used a Wigglytuff. I really don't remember ever using Parasect at all. Venomoth, I did try to use Venomoth because I wanted to see, and it's not as good as Butterfree. Yeah, I've used Ductrio, technically. I used that against Lieutenant Surge when I was a kid. Arcanine, of course. Poliwrath, yes. Alakazam. I'm not gonna say yes to that one, but I'm not gonna say no because you needed in order to get it, you had to be able to trade, and I didn't have a way of doing that. So technically, I never owned an Alakazam. It's only in later games that I actually had an Alakazam because I started buying like 2 games and 2 systems. Muck I've never used. Oh, I missed the stupid bird. Whatever the bird's name is, I can't even think of the name of the thing. Dodo? Doduo? Whatever the stupid bird is with 2 heads and 3 heads. I've never used that. I've used Krabby. I actually haven't used, Voltorb and Electrode. I've never used those. I did try using Executor, Marowak, Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan. Licky Tongue is a technicality because I use that a lot for HMs. Licky Tongue can have Cut, Surf, and Strength. And it's an HM mule, that's all it is. Chansey. I don't think I've ever used a Chansey. I know I tried to use Rhyhorn. I just didn't like it. Same for Kangaskong. I tried to use it. Wasn't a big fan. Seadra, not a big fan. Sea King, not a big fan, but I did use it because I was looking for a good water type. Mr. Mime, on a technicality, I have used. I used the Galarian Mr. Mime, and then whatever its evolution is for Galare. Jinx, I've never actually used Jinx. I don't like Jinx at all. I have used Magmar and Electabuzz. Pinsir, I don't think I've ever used a Pinsir. I can't make out. Oh, that's Tauros. Have I used a Tauros? I don't know about that one. I really don't know that I've ever used a Tauros. Of course, I've used Gyarados. In fact, my latest video, the 3-hour-long Let's Play Through Red, I use a Gyarados in. Lapras, I used Lapras a lot because it was my Surf Pokemon. Ditto, I've never used Ditto. Its gimmick of transforming into the Pokemon, I don't like. Because it gives you no actual advantages over your enemy's Pokemon. I'd much rather have some type of Pokemon that I have control over it, rather than just transforming it into it, and I have the exact same move set up. I don't like how Ditto works. What the hell is that? I can't make it out. Oh! Porygon. I don't think I've ever used a Porygon. I don't think I've ever used Porygon, Porygon 2, or Porygon Z. I honestly don't think I've ever used those. Omnite, Omstar, that was a really good water type. I use that quite a bit. Kabuto, Kabutops, I have used them. Not my favorite, but I do like the design of it. Aerodactyl, I seem to remember that I did use that for flying at one point. Snorlax, it's just a big bulky Pokemon. I'm pretty sure I've used it before. The 3 legendary birds, yes, I've used all 3 of them. Dratini, Dragonair, yes. Dragonite, no. I don't think I've ever actually used Dragonite. Mewtwo, of course I've used Mewtwo. Mewtwo's the best Psychic in the entire game, next to Alakazam, but if you can't get Alakazam, you might as well get the Mewtwo, but unfortunately, you can't get Mewtwo until the end of the game, so I have used it. Okay, let's see what Mikey's used and not used. Well, on that kind of note, yeah, there's a lot more that I haven't used, but I was going, like, have I ever used them? Like, period. have I ever used them? There's a lot of them that I have. There's very few that I've never actually used. Beedrill. If you watch the playthrough, I use a Beedrill. It's not for a majority of the playthrough, but I do use it. Butterfree actually has a better kit. Oh, I don't have the sound on for that. I'm sorry. Butterfree actually has a better kit, too. So it gets the poisons and it gets confusion. Beedrill doesn't really get anything. Like, nothing. I don't think even its later level up moveset is better. It's just, it's a bad Pokemon. Let's just be honest, it's bad.
But more importantly, it was on the final league-beating team in my Pokemon Shield but Pokemon Go Decides My Team video, where the team changed after every gym. So it's never been on a team start to finish, but it was there for a league victory, and that counts. Next is Pidgeot. Kind of? This may be surprising to you.
I have used Pidgeot. I have used it. Again, I'm not going to go with the same standards that he has. I'm just thinking, like, have I actually used that Pokemon? In Pidgeot, yes, I have used it. In the original Red and Blue, that's about it. After that, I don't screw with any of the birds. Like, if we had to do this for, like, all the different regions, like, oh my gosh.
Since it's the first regional bird, and I feel like everybody uses the regional bird at some point or another, but when
No! Screw the regional bird. It's a freaking bird. It's never been that great. The only regional bird that I would say is absolutely worth using is Rookidee. Rookidee is the only one that's worth it. I'm not really going to count Skarmory, though. Skarmory is technically a regional bird.
I was younger, I was mainly just solo running with my starters, but then as I've gotten...
But, as has been said multiple times and everywhere, the term regional bird is a fan thing, and it usually refers to a bird-type Pokemon that you can find very early in the game. I don't think Silver and Gold introduce a new bird type that early in the game. So the idea that Scarlet and Violet got rid of the regional bird, I mean, technically there's not one in Silver and Gold.
Older, whenever Pidgeot's been available, so have better options. Kanto is full of fantastic flying types like Charizard or Dodrio or the legendary birds. Johto has Kenya the Fearow, and Kalos has Talonflame. However, I did say kind of, since in my Leaf Green Team Sky playthrough, I used a Pidgey to Pidgeotto to Pidgeot called Mod for about half the playthrough, benching it after beating Koga and getting Articuno. So it was there for about 5 gyms, which is more than half the playthrough, but after a certain point, it was barely touching the battlefield because better Pokemon, specifically Gyarados and Dodrio, were taking care of all of that. So, like I said, it's very much a kind of. Speaking of Team Sky, there is new Team Sky merch! This stylish, comfy hoodie and sleek, soft shirt are available at mnjtvmerch.com right now, alongside the new Hailstorm form of...
I know this is an old video, but Team Sky is my nemesis. I tried to start. I was making up some BS, and I was like doing like Team Ground, where Team Sky's whole goal is to expand the sky for more bird Pokemon. My thing was that I wanted to expand the ground, which is different than expanding the land. It's a completely different process. But yeah, just something silly I came up with. Like, nobody cares, so, like, whatever.
Mighty, my form-changing mascot, gets this form when it experiences hail, of course, which gives it the superpower of being bulletproof. Also, since it's the hail form, look at this. It says hail yeah on his feet. You can get all 3 of these at mnjtvmerch.com, but only for a limited time, so grab them while you can. They will arrive before Christmas. The next Pokemon I've never used is Arbok.
Have I used Arbok? I think I have. I'm gonna leave that as I think I have. Again, I am not going with the same standards as him. If I have used a Pokemon, regardless of how long, it counts. I'm pretty sure I've used an Arbok. And obviously, like, you're not going to be able to go through the video log of everything that I've ever done as far as Pokemon and find evidence of that, because it doesn't exist. We're talking 30 years of Pokemon, and I've played every single game.
I've always thought Arbok was cool, but...
Let me correct it. I've played every single game brand new. Except for maybe ZA. I got a feeling I'm going to miss out on ZA.
It's never been practical. Its base stats are not great, plus it's a pure poison type, an almost completely useless type before Fairy was added. The only version of Kanto that has the Fairy type is Let's Go. The best chance for Arbok was Grunty Boy's playthrough of Let's Go Pikachu, since Arbok is a Team Rocket Pokemon. But Arbok is also a Let's Go Eevee exclusive. Oddly enough, I actually did do a Team Rocket playthrough of Let's Go Eevee several years ago when I still streamed. But Arbok didn't even make the final squad there because I already had other better poison types. Next is Nidoqueen, simply because every time it's been an option, so has Nidoking. And
I like both of them, so I have used them together quite often. Though I would prefer to use Nidoking.
like Nidoking's design and stat spread more. After that is Clefable. If Clefable is not a fairy type, it is not useful, so that eliminates it from contention in 5 generations.
I don't think so, because Clefable is actually a very bulky Pokemon. Like, I know I've used it before because of that. I know I have.
It's quite good once it is a fairy type,
It's
but in all the
bulky
cases
as
where
hell.
it's an option is one, I've either wanted to use newer generation Pokemon more, or I just don't think it's that cool, so I'm like, eh. Next is Ninetales.
I'll agree with that.
Sort of. I have used Alolan Ninetales, it being a member of both my first Ultra Sun team and my Ultra Moon with only Ice types team. However, I can't recall a time using Cantonian Ninetales, since if I want to use a Kanto Fire type, I tend to go for Charizard or Arcanine. On the fact that it's a version exclusive a lot of the times, plus in the Hoenn region it's found really late, and it's just never worked out. Also, last I checked, Alolan Ninetales was subscribed to my channel, while Cantonian Ninetales is not. So if you want to be cool and on my team, then you should subscribe.
No! I'm not. I told him what it's going to take for me to subscribe, and he still hasn't done it. Not going to matter, like a little fan such as myself. Never going to happen, but basically what it was, I wanted him to do a reaction video to me spanking Whitney. Like, I destroyed Whitney. It was hilarious. I was not even expecting that. I was expecting to go two, 3, maybe 5 rounds before I finally beat Whitney. And I absolutely obliterated her on the first try. So, yeah. He'll never see this. Doesn't matter.
Send you into battle. Next is Vileplume. At least I'm pretty...
Unless you guys tell him to go watch it, but he's not going to listen to you anyway. He's not going to watch my content. I don't think anybody watches it. I think the 20 or so people that do watch it are fake.
sure it's entirely...
Why do I think they're fake? They don't leave comments. Simple as that. There are like 3 people that have left comments. But that was because they were like pissy little bitches about what I said. Like, honestly, like, I took down that video for a reason, but even on that stuff, like, those guys don't understand shit. Like, they're idiots.
Possible as a kid that I did another playthrough, so like I had Leaf Green and did it just with Blastoise, and then I got Fire Red. Maybe I used a team in that, but I can't be 100% certain. I don't remember, so I have to list it because I can't confirm that I've used it. I'm pretty sure I just simply haven't used it though. Despite Vileplume being in a lot of games, I've always ended up picking the grass starter, picking a much cooler grass type like Breloom, for example, or just not using a grass.
I've never used Breloom. I can't stand that stupid thing. I know it's a good Pokemon, but it looks freaking retarded.
Type at all.
Calling that thing cool is a mental illness.
Hi, it is I, Grunty Boy, and boom, life's
I'm sorry, I'm not here for your promotion. I can't do this. I gotta pause it and skip you.
Straight up awful. Horrible stats and horrible typing. In Gen 1, Paris and Parasect were the only Pokemon to ever have 3-4 times weaknesses because Bug was weak to Poison back in the day. It's garbage through and through. The only way I ever use a Parasect is if I'm somehow forced into it, or it gets like an evolution that's amazing.
I used it back in the day because it is a grass type. Simple as that. I have used it.
Like, even if it got another form, I still think its stats wouldn't be good enough to
Didn't like it, but I have used it.
justify it.
When you have Dell AI
No, I can't have that. Hang on, let me take that off. Let me mute. Let me get past this.
There's another kind. In my first Let's Go playthrough ever, I got a random shiny Venomat that I caught and named Sky. I kept it on the team for as long as I could, but by about the halfway point, its poor battle prowess forced me to replace it. So I never completed a game with one, but a cool blue one was there for a bit. Dugtrio is like Vileplume, where I feel like I may have used it as a kid in some repeat Fire Red or Leaf Green playthrough, but since I'm not certain, I have to list it. I've never used it as an adult though, because honestly, it's pretty weak. It's got great speed and then acceptable attack, but then a toddler could kill it with a feather. So Nidoking or Rhydon or Golem are just better ground type options. After that is Primeape. In Kanto playthroughs, fighting
Really? You've never used a Primeape? I know this is 2 years old, but holy crap. I know I've used a Primeape before. Trying out different fighting types. And fighting is one of those that I like having the moves for. I don't like having it on my team. I don't want a fighting type Pokemon. Just let me have a Pokemon that has fighting type moves. I don't care about the fighting type at all. Unless it's Lucario. If it's Lucario, always take Lucario.
There's no dark types, only one fully evolved steel type, no normal specialist, all of Lorelei's ice types have a secondary type you can exploit, and Brock has to be fought before you have access to any fighting types. The only exception is in Yellow version, where you can get a Mankey before Brock, which I used for the only time.
I'm still confused by that, because I know I've had one before, and I've never played Yellow. So, unless I'm, like, mixing up memories with Fire Red, I know I've had one before. Like, even in that playthrough of Red, I'm talking about that, and I'm like, I remember getting this thing. I remember having fighting-type moves against Brock. And then, as I'm, like, playing through it, and I'm seeing that you can't get Mankey, so Cerebi is absolutely correct on that. And then you don't get double kick on the Nidorans until level 43. I'm like, now, wait a minute, because I remember having fighting type moves against Brock. I absolutely remember that. I don't know what's going on there, so maybe I'm mixing up memories with Fire Red. I don't know.
I played Yellow, but then I moved on from it. While I've used all the other Kanto fighting types in other games, I've never used Primeape because it's either not available or severely outclassed. Assuming you can trade, which I've always been able to, there is basically no reason to use Primeape over Machamp, and Machop is available in every game Mankey is, plus more. Victory Bell is the next one for the same reasons as Vileplume.
No, I mean, back in the day, like, trying different combinations of Pokemon, like, I've pretty much tried every single grass type there is in the original games. And then at some point, I came to the conclusion that grass is absolutely worthless. It just takes up a slot that you could put something else in that'd be better. And if you haven't seen the video where I talk about what types I like and what types I don't, grass is at the bottom of the list. I think below grass is literally the only thing that I would take over, that I wouldn't take over grass is probably bug. That's pretty much it. Like, I mean, there's a couple of bug types that I would take, but that's because their other typing is much better. Like Sizer, for instance, having a steel type, not exactly huge, but I do like steel types, even though I don't really use them.
Every game it's been available, I've either used the grass starter, a cooler grass type, or no grass type at all. One of the
Don't even use grass. You don't need it. Literally, to cover, grass only works against water, ground, and rock. For water, just grab an electric. You're probably going to have one on your team anyway. And that is also going to cover flying type. So now you're covering 2 extra types. So, and then rock and ground, just use a water type. You're going to cover both of those, and then fire as well. So, literally, you're going to have double coverage there for no reason. Grass, to me, because of that double coverage there, is worthless. There is no reason to take a grass Pokemon whatsoever. It's the coverage for grass is so pathetic that it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it.
easiest game to use it in is probably the Johto game, since Bellsprout is found so early. But Johto doesn't have any gym leaders weak to grass. I've done several Johto playthroughs, but the only team that ended up including a grass type was my Team Skyward, which had a jump ball. Tentacruel is the next Pokemon. Despite Tentacool being the Ocean Zubat, Tentacruel actually has pretty solid stats. Tentacruel is a water type though, which means it faces fierce competition from water starters, Gyarados, Lapras, and all of...
Yeah, water types are a dime a dozen. I have tried them because I use pretty much in my original playthroughs of them. I tried to change up my team like every time, and I have used a good chunk of every single Pokemon. And Tentacruel, trying it out as a water type and teaching it Surf, I have done that. Not my favorite. Like, get a Gyarados. There's just no other way of putting it. Just use a Gyarados.
the other dozens of water types. And then it's a poison type, which, as I mentioned, was basically useless before Fairy. I was able to make poison types work before Fairy was introduced. And by that I mean I made Crobat work because I really liked Crobat and thought it looked really cool. And I don't think Tentacruel looks cool.
I don't even care about Crobat for the poison. I like Crobat for the flying type. Wing attack with Crobat, it did a lot of damage, and then teach it fly.
Rapidash is kind of like Ninetales. Kanto, I usually picked Charizard or Arcanine. Now,
I mean, I definitely would prefer a lot of other fire types to Rapidash, but there is a game, I think it's like, it's something else, where Rapidash, if you don't take the fire starter, Rapidash is the only other fire in the entire game. So if you don't take the fire type, Rapidash is what you're going to end up having to get for your fire type. Like, you don't have a choice in that. It's literally the only other fire type in the entire flipping game. And I think that's actually Alpha. I think that's actually Ruby and Sapphire. I think it's Ruby and
it
Sapphire.
is one of only 2 fire type options in Diamond and Pearl.
Okay, so it's Diamond and Pearl, not... Yeah. It's the only other fire type.
But I basically always play Platinum, or I just start with Infernape, or I just don't use a fire type. Rapidash does have a Galarian form, but I've just simply never ended up using it.
Okay, the Galarian form, that's probably only one of 2 forms that I've actually used on a team. The other one being the Galarian Meow. I hate that the Galarian Pokemon, the Galarian Dex, gets hated on because I don't like any of the other regional forms. The Galarian regional forms are actually the best out of all of them. Like, I really do like Alola Ninetales, but I've never seen a reason to use it because Ice is so weak. Like, Ice, again, much like the Grass type and the Fighting type, like, maybe I've got a Pokemon with that type of attack on it. I'm not actually going to use it. I did try to do a playthrough with Galarian Rapidash. Didn't work out too well. I ended up getting absolutely stomped by the Dark Gym user, who is arguably, by a lot of the fans, the weakest gym leader out there, but you got to understand the team that I had was not capable of beating him. And in that situation, he is the hardest gym leader I have ever had to play against. And I think I legitimately had to change my team in order to beat him. I couldn't do it. I did not have what it took to beat him. And that's because what I had on my team was I had Gardevoir, who is a very psychic. So he is the dark gym. His dark moves were just one-shotting her. Then I had Gallade. Gallade is a fighting psychic. Again, the dark moves just absolutely destroyed him. And then I had Sizer, which is a bug steel type. Well, I hate to tell you, but a couple of his Pokemon are actually really physical, and they have fighting type moves. So, bam, bam, there goes Sizer. Didn't work on him at all. Like, Sizer was just absolutely destroyed. Then I had a Bisharp, which is dark steel. And again, just like the Sizer, because of that steel typing, just smack, smack, dead. And then I had the Galarian Rapidash, which is a psychic type. So the three psychics were absolutely useless against him. I couldn't do anything with them. They were just getting one-shotted no matter what I did. At the final Pokemon, the only one that stood a chance was actually a Grimmsnarl, which is very dark. Yeah. He rolled me multiple times. I think I legitimately had to change my entire team out in order to beat him. There was no getting around him. He was just absolutely curb stomping me. Like, it was insane.
Next is Slowbro, and like Tentacruel, it being a water type means fierce.
The Slowbro I have used because, again, going through trying different Pokemon, Slowbro's a water psychic type. It's a different psychic type. I had access to it and not Alakazam, so I did try it. And plus, being water type, it meant that I could free up a slot for something else. So that was back in the days where I was trying different combinations.
Competition. While its secondary psychic type is quite good, especially in the earlier generations, that actually holds it back, because by the time I gained access to Slowpoke, I'm probably already using an Alakazam.
I'm still calling bullshit on that because, you gotta be able to trade to get the Alakazam.
Farfetch'd has been skipped for
And he has stated that he has never played Red and Blue because of how old they are and everything. I don't know if that's true or not, so don't hold me to that. But I think he said he's done it once and he'll never do it again. And again, if you go and you watch the 3-hour-long video that I put together, which I do apologize about the sound, I figured out what was going on with my sound. I absolutely curb stomp Sabrina. Like, I destroy her. And it's absolutely hilarious to me because I'm like, yeah, she's not that strong. Like, quit complaining about her. She has never been that strong. I don't know why people complain. Alakazam is a strong Pokemon. Don't get me wrong. It is a strong Pokemon because back then, special attack and special defense were one stat, and I think Alakazam has like a 135 special. So, yes, he is very powerful. It's not because he's a psychic type, though. It's because of the way the game is programmed that he's very powerful. And yes, I understand that Psychic does not have a weakness in that. Psychic's not the issue. It's Alakazam that's the issue. And if you know what you're doing, just gone. My guess is he doesn't know what he's actually doing, which makes no sense, because he's the YouTuber getting paid for Pokemon stuff. I'm not.
for one obvious reason. It's garbage. Its base stat total is a mere...
Honestly, yeah, I think I skipped this one. I don't think I've ever used Farfetch'd. I know that maybe I did use it, because I do remember having the traded Pokemon in Red and Blue. There is an in-game trade for one. I do remember having it. I don't remember actually using it though. Like, I know it was on the team. Like, I can picture it being on the team. But that's about it. Like, I think it was my cut Pokemon for a little while there. That's all I used it for. Just using the HM cut. I haven't even used Surf Fetched. I just don't like that Pokemon. I just really don't.
You're 377, making it the second weakest fully evolved Pokemon in Kanto, with the only weaker one being Ditto, a Pokemon that instantly turns into something else. I tried Surfetched for a bit during my first Sword playthrough, but I liked both Grappllocked and Phalanx more, so I ended up using those in that playthrough and later ones. Dugong, Cloyster, and Kingler are other water types that I've passed over for the same reasons as the others. Too many significantly better water type options.
That's fair. I mean, there's so many water types, you can find something better. Again, Gyarados is probably the best. And then later you can get Lapras. Take your pick, Lapras or Gyarados. I would say get the Gyarados, but Lapras is actually a pretty good water Pokemon.
Cloyster is the best of the three, and I actually had one I used in the Battle Subway many years ago, but it's never been on a playthrough team. Executor's like Vileplume and Victory Bell. I used the Grass Starter, a better or cooler Grass type, or no Grass type at all. Plus, Execute is basically always obtained significantly later than it seems like most other Grass types, and if a Pokemon is obtained too late, I'm not going to be keen on using it unless it's really good. I did use Executor for one segment of my Pokemon Go Decides My Team video, but that's it. Could have used it for more segments. But I didn't know that it was available in the game, so I was ignoring a lot of Alolan Executors. Marowak is another kinda, because while I haven't used it for a playthrough, I did use it in my, Grunty Boys playthrough of the Team Rainbow Rocket plotline. So it was an essential part of the team, but not for a full playthrough, so I'm not really sure how that counts. I never used it before, though, because it's stats up. A normal-type Pokemon has to be super impressive for me to consider using it on my team.
Yeah, I will agree with that statement. I don't really use normal types that much. Eevee is a different story, though.
Since it's the least useful offensive type in the game. Lickitung, and by extension Licky are not even remotely impressive, and also, like, quite difficult to find. In Red and Blue, the only way to get a Lickitung is one in-game trade. I think it's the same for Farfetch'd. Why did...
No. That is bullshit. Lickitung is actually available in the Safari Zone in Blue. He is not available in Red, though.
They do that? Why did they put not good Pokemon hidden behind very tucked away in-game trades? Weezing is a pure poison type.
I know this because I wanted to get a Lickitung specifically for putting on Cut, Surf, and Strength. I wanted to do that. I noticed that it got all three of those. It's the only three that you really need in the game. Technically Fly, but you can swap in and out because you're going straight to a Pokemon Center. In order to get through some of the areas, you need Cut, Surf, and Strength all together. So the fact that he learns all three of them, I really wanted one, and I was looking it up, and he's only available in Blue in the Safari Zone. Otherwise, you have to go and get the trade one. But that's it. But yeah, it is catchable.
And thus not useful for most of Pokemon's history. While its Galarian form is significantly better, it hasn't worked out for my team in a game.
Actually, that's one I forgot about. Weezing, yeah, I don't think I've ever used Weezing. I think I've used Coughing before, but that's in, like, not legit Pokemon games. I think there's a few, like, fan games that I've tried where Coughing is one of the earliest ones you can get, and I have used it. But those are not legitimately Pokemon games. Those are fan-made games, so... the one that comes to mind is the zombie one. I can't think of that, but... I can't think of what it's called. But the Pokemon world has been infected by zombies, and you have to try to get through it. And I think Coughing is one of the earliest ones you get because of all the gas and the poison that's around. And yeah, so I have used a Coughing before, not a Weezing.
Galar playthrough yet. Well, aside from one segment, my Pokemon Go Decides My Team video, but that was for only one batch. Chansey, and by extension Blissey, are more normal types that aren't good enough to overcome their normal type. I know they're quite good and competitive, especially Chansey if it's holding an Eviolite. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit there and stall and soft-boiled forever in a playthrough. No, I Kangaskhan is another normal type that's not impressive enough. While Mega Kangaskhan is incredibly overpowered, it's literally impossible to use one before beating the Pokemon League without trade. If you can even trade. I don't actually know if Mega Stones can be traded.
No, Megastones cannot be traded. Actually, yeah, I think you can trade the Megastone. Like, if you do a legitimate trade with somebody else, I think you can trade the Megastone across games. I'm almost positive you can do that.
Seadra, and thus Kingdra, are really cool Pokemon I'm definitely down to use, but it's never been practical. In games where Kingdra is not possible, so Kanto games, I am not using Seadra. It's the weakest fully evolved water type in Kanto, and that's saying a lot considering how many there are. Meanwhile, Kingdra is great with great typing, but Horsey is always found so late, long after I've needed another water type.
I don't feel like that's actually true. Though if you push to get Gyarados in red and blue, I mean, you're gonna have a Gyarados before you get this thing. But once you get Surf, I'm pretty sure you can go and get a Horsey pretty quick. In fact, I think you can also do it if you got the old rod in a couple of different spots. But you're still probably gonna have the Gyarados before you can get that. Yeah.
Then we go to Seaking, the second worst fully evolved water type in Kanto. Only 10 base stat total points stronger than Seadra, and it actually is fully evolved. Seadra gets saved by getting Kingdra added. Seaking gets nothing, which means it gets no use from me. Starmie, though, is far from the worst water type in Kanto, actually having decently good typing and quite good stats, and it was good enough for me to use one enough
It's bulky as hell.
online battles in Gen 6.
Like, the only other Pokemon that is, like, quote, weak, that is bulkier, is Clefable. Clefable and Clefairy are just bulky as hell. And for that particular game, if you're looking for something that has a lot of health, they are good options up until you get to Snorlax. Like, once you get the Snorlax, screw those two. However, the main problem there is you cannot access Staryu and thus Starmie until much later. Like, much later.
6 years back. However, like Horsey, Staryu is found too late in most games,
Yeah, like I just said.
needing the Super Rod most of the time to even find it. When there's dozens of water type options in basically every game, it just makes sense to go with one I can get sooner rather than hold off for a Staryu at the end of the game. Jinx is hard to find and not strong, plus I never liked it.
Yeah, it's a horrible looking Pokemon. For those that don't know, they changed it because people, I'm just going to say it that way, found it offensive. I mean, that's the whole point of it. It was supposed to be offensive.
3 strikes, it's Electabuzz, or more specifically, Electivire. I wouldn't consider it if Electivire wasn't an option.
I used to use Electabuzz because you only get one Eevee, and I had to try each version of Eevee. So, if you're not getting the Jolteon, and you're not using a Pikachu, you're either going to use a Magnemite, a Voltorb, or you're going to get an Electabuzz. You can also get Zapdos, but, you know, Zapdos comes a little bit later. And in fact, like, probably about the time that you can get Electabuzz, you can get the Zapdos. It just comes down to trying Pokemon out. Like, I have tried out Electabuzz. It is a good Pokemon. Electivire, I have never tried because I think this thing looks like an abomination. I don't think it's great. It's not something that I'm going to go out of my way and get. Like, most of the time, if I'm going to go out of my way to get an electric Pokemon, it's probably going to be a Jolteon. That's probably what I'm going to go out of my way to try and get. Unless we're talking about me using Toxtricity. Like, I do like Toxtricity. I just don't use it that often.
Is another where it feels like I've used it, but I can't think of a specific example. Maybe a
Probably because it's a stupid evolution item plus trading. I don't think I've ever used Electivire because of that. Like any of the trade evolution Pokemon, I don't think I've ever legitimately used them. I have had them, but I don't think I've legitimately used any of them, except for like Sizer.
I just really wanted to for a while, but I just ended up going with Magneton or Magnezone instead. Pinsir is a pure bug type. A bug type is the worst in the game. So if I'm going to use a bug type, it's got to either have a secondary type.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with that. I feel like because there's such an overlap with grass types, like grass types is actually worse than bug, because there's no reason to have a grass type. There are a few reasons to have a bug type. And there's less chance of an overlap on your team as far as what you can take out and what you're good against.
Typing that makes it better, or I've got to think it looks really cool, or both. Pinsir has neither of those two things, so I've never used a Pinsir and don't intend to. Ditto is a gimmick Pokemon. It's just not practical to try to use it when you can never be certain what you'll be fighting with. I have used it a lot in the daycare, though. I mean,
Yeah, we know what he means by that, and I've done that a lot. Like, there's no denying that.
me personally, I just realized it sounded really bad. Amistar and Kabutops are fine, but they're not strong enough to justify their late obtainment.
Are you kidding me? Omnistar was one of my final Elite Four members in the original Red and Blue. Omnistar is pretty good. Kabutops, I like it. I've never really used it to beat any kind of thing. I just like it. I like the design of it. Unfortunately, its typing I'm not a big fan of.
The second to last Gym Island. By that time, I always have a better water type. Aerodactyl's not the same boat as them, though, because it's better, and Team Sky wanted one. Or I had a shiny one from Pokemon Go that I wanted to transfer into Let's Go and use on my first playthrough. And that's the end of the list. Every Pokemon in the text after Amistar and Kabutops I've used at least once. Yes, even Mewtwo and Mew, thanks to a randomizer and the Pokeball Plus, respectively. Don't forget to pick up Hailstorm Mighty or Team Sky merch at mngtvmerch.com, but only for a limited time. And thank you so much for watching. With an extra special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon for helping support my channel independently.
Yeah, I'm not going through your stupid watch me and subscribe to me stuff. Does he have another one of those? The legendary video. I love that video because he goes into why Pokemon are not legendary. And based on his logic, Miraidon and Koraidon are not legendaries. And part of his logic on why certain Pokemon should be considered legendaries and some should not, in order to thin out the amount of legendaries, is there only one in the game? Can you only get one? And technically, Miraidon and Koraidon, you can only get one. However, there are 3 of the damn things in the game. There's the one you're riding around on as a mount. There's the one that you have to fight at the end of Area 0. And then there's the one that you catch after Area 0. There's 3 of the dang things. Plus, excuse me. Plus, all it is a frickin' evolution of Silencer. The stupid lizard thing. That's all it is. It's an evolution of that Pokemon based on if it's in the past or in the future. It's not a legendary, and I cannot stand it. I will say, like, let's go ahead and just jump out of this for a second. We're not in we're not in Scarlet, so I can't really explain this to you, but this to me is a much better looking rideable mount, especially considering that it's effectively just a transformer. Koraidon is just retarded. Like, this thing at least has the principle that is effectively a machine. and it makes sense with how it works. Koraidon doesn't. Koraidon has nothing going for it that makes me think, oh, that's cool. And I'll never understand why people think that Koraidon is a better legendary, because it's not. It's horrible. It is not as viable as Miraidon as far as competitive Pokemon, but I don't care about competitive Pokemon. And Koraidon just is absolutely retarded looking. Miraidon is better, but in both cases, they're not legendaries. Neither of them are legendaries. Like, that bugs the hell out of me. I just enlarged that over again. Oh, I turned off my EV. If I could have EVs running across the screen, I would. And also, that'd be really cool to do for, like, viewers and everything. I don't feel like there's anything to react to right now either. And this is really just getting nowhere. We've been sitting there for a long time and nobody's come in. There's no chat going on. There's nobody using the code, so like... All I need is the stupid Palafin. Well, that, and I do need the Paradox Pokemon from Scarlet, but I am doing a Scarlet playthrough, so eventually I could get those. I need to do that before I can't trade between games, because Pokemon, or Nintendo keeps killing the tradability from one generation to the next. I don't understand why they do that. Why is it gotta be an online feature that you have to pay for? Like that, the Pokemon Home, is it called Pokemon Home for this? I don't know what it's called for Switch, but whatever it's called, you only get one stupid box. That holds, what, 36 Pokemon? Out of how many are in these games? It's like, screw you, Nintendo. Nobody's got that much money. And if they do, what the hell are they doing this for? I'm gonna leave this running, and I guess I'll go take the dogs out or something.